It's been 10 years, but Kate experienced something that was so shocking, so tragic, so heartbreaking that she left town. She even dropped out of school. She just left. Okay? Now, what happened was her friend Emma was seen standing over the body of who ended up being a homeless man that we learned about later in the story. In fact, the man that was found dead was a friend of Kate's. But what's worse is that Emma is the one standing over the dead body, and Emma has a rock in her hand. So could Emma be the one responsible for this man's death, and what happened as a result of that? Now, there's several things to talk about. First of all, it was the last night before school was going to be out and these kids were going to be going off to college. And Kate and Emma were the same age and they were out with their friends. Now, Kate's mother was either at work or away, so Kate let her little sister tag along. Her sister at the time was maybe like 13 years old. Now, as we read 10 years later, which is current time, because the book goes back and forth and back and forth, we find out that Kate's sister was left mute as a result of whatever happened that night when Kate saw Emma standing over that dead body. That's your drama. And then we fast forward to now, which is 10 years later, and Kate had received a phone call that her mother was involved in some sort of an accident. I think she had like a broken hip or something. And she needs Kate's help. So Kate's back in town. With Kate being back in town, could it very well be that she might be able to reconnect with Emma? Sadly, no. Emma suddenly dies. Is it suicide? Was it murder? Was it an accident? I won't tell you the circumstances behind Emma's death other than to say that Emma suddenly dies now that Kate is back in town. Kate wants answers. What were the circumstances behind, or what are the circumstances behind Emma's death? Question number 1. Question number 2, what really happened that night that left her sister mute? Selective mutism, I believe it's called. A man dead and Kate leaving town. And now that Kate's back in town, she starts to find something out. What she finds out is that almost every year after this man was killed, another homeless man was killed. And then a year later, another homeless man, and then another homeless man. And the police don't seem to recognize it. Are the homeless so discarded that the police don't count their deaths as worthy of investigation? Well, that's what Kate wants to know. I'm going to constantly say Emma when I mean to say Kate, or Kate when I need to say Emma. So she starts looking into that. Meanwhile, there's 2 men that are suddenly in Kate's life. And these are men that she knew back in high school. Will one of these men be the man that she ends up with at the end of the day? But it's not a romance. In fact, it's a psychological thriller. Well, we start to see a connection between somebody, something, somewhere along the way of what happened 10 years ago, what happened to Emma recently, and what's happening now. Only 4 minutes and 22 seconds in, and I don't really want to say much else, because if I say anything else, I might spoil it, and I don't want to spoil it. I just want to leave you intrigued. Yeah. That is Best Friends Forever. Dual timeline. 10 years ago now, 10 years ago now. With some cool twists and turns that will keep you riveted to this excellent book by Shannon Hollinger. Hollinger? Yeah, I think it's Hollinger. Can't think of anything else to say other than it's a great suspense. Highly recommend. You can get it on Amazon for $3.99. I don't believe it's Kindle Unlimited. And it's not going to be out for a minute. Maybe a couple weeks from now when I'm making the video, I'm going to just check the date to tell you how. Yeah, I'm good 2 weeks ahead of time. So I'll just schedule this book review when it's ready to go up. But thanks for watching. Bye-bye.